What's up everyone, my name is techgeekjosh and you're watching the video comparison between the Motorola Moto E4 versus the ZTE Warp 7. With that being said, let's start the video right now. So let's go ahead and start with the boot up test. The E4 being on the left and the ZTE Warp 7 being on the right. So the ZTE showed the start screen first, or the boot up screen. A little bit of pricing on both of them. The E4 is probably going for still $40 as of this video at Walmart, whereas the ZTE Warp 7 is being sold at Best Buy for about $80, so about a $40 price difference between these two devices. Alright, so as we can see here, the Moto is booted up first. Not surprising. I actually expect that thing to perform quite well after all that we've seen from it. And now the Warp 7 is booted up, and so it's not too far behind the Moto E4. So now that the boot up test is done, let's go ahead and see which one is faster opening apps. Warp 7, E4, E4 slight bit faster there, E4, Warp 7, just like that. All these apps are updated, by the way. E4, looks like the Warp 7 on this one. E4 is kind of lagging behind for whatever reason. E4, I'd say the Warp 7 split second faster there. Exactly the same. Warp 7, Warp 7, so they are loading the exact same website. It looks like the E4 is just so much faster here than the Warp 7. For the screen size, we're getting a 5-inch display over here on the Moto E4 versus a 5.5-inch display on the Warp 7. And you should know what I'm about to say. You can see more content on the Warp 7. Scrolling is, as you can see, very stuttery at times, but once everything is all situated, they're pretty good. For some reason the E4 is lagging, as you can see here, lagging big time. I have to say, let's go ahead and start that test again because I could not tell. E4. Before we go any farther, I'd like to point out the E4 has on-screen buttons, back home and recent apps with a fingerprint scanner right down below it, right down here. Can't see it because of how far away it is from the camera, but take my word for it. If you've seen previous videos, you're pretty familiar. You should be pretty familiar with the E4. Warp 7 has off-screen buttons and they light up blue when tapped, as you can see. But as you can see, there are two little dots and like a big open dot. Back, home, and recent apps. Basically just like the Moto. Alright, so now that the app opening speed test is done. Let's see which one handles holding apps open better in the background. If I'm not mistaken, both of these have exactly 2 gigabytes of RAM. I know 1.8 gigabytes in real life, but rounds out to 2 gigabytes. Excuse me as I choked a little bit. E4. Warp 7 not too bad, but as you saw, it bring up the screen first on the Moto E4. Exactly the same. I don't know what's wrong with Instagram. It doesn't want to be reloaded or something. It just accidentally just deletes from the memory or whatever, for whatever reason. I don't mistap anything, by the way. I just tap the app and just, as you just saw, it just disappeared. Exactly the same. I'm making sure to actually like with some force to tap the app to make sure I don't mistap. Warp 7. I'd say the E4 on that one. I'd have to say exactly the same on this one. Very surprising. E4. Warp 7. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Interesting. Exactly the same. So I have to say the E4. And oh, that's right. I didn't test these apps down here. My brain's not here right now, that's why. I have to say the Warp 7. And the E4. And let's see here, we do have a clear all button. It's at the top right on the E4, lower right or bottom right on the Warp 7. Clear all. Clear all. So that pretty much does it for this video. I helped you make a decision on which of these devices to get. Would you go for the $40 Moto E4 or the $80 Warp 7? In my personal opinion, I think the E4 is a better bang for your buck phone. Warp 7 is not bad, but for $80, which is what it's currently going for, I'd say it's a no deal for me. I wouldn't buy it for $80. But I would totally buy the E4, which is only $40, and it's a much better device in my personal opinion. It has better features. It has a front-facing flash, which the Warp 7 does not. Although you do have a 5.5-inch screen on the Warp 7 compared to only a 5-inch screen on the E4. E4 does have a fingerprint scanner, which is very nice, especially for $40, whereas the Warp 7 doesn't have anything of the sort. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video in any way possible, and I'll see you again in the next video.